Three texts have been read for us. Actually, more than three texts. Habakkuk, chapter 1, verses 1 to 4. Chapter 2, verses 1 to 4. Chapter 3, 17 to 19. And then 2 Thessalonians, one to 4, and verses 11 and 12. And the gospel reading was Luke 19, 1 to 10. Habakkuk was written just before the fall of Judah. Habakkuk prophesied somewhere around 609 to 597 when Babylon took Judah into captivity, and that is the time when Daniel and his friends were taken into captivity. Zephaniah and Nahum prophesied earlier, and they were prophesying at a time when Assyria was on the decline and Assyria had fallen. Assyria today is part of Turkey, part of Syria, part of Babylon and Iraq. And Babylon was next to Iraq. So part of Iraq was also part of Assyria. These were the major players, and down south was Egypt, and northern kingdom and southern kingdom of Israel and Judah were sandwiched in between. So if Egypt marched to war, they had to cross Judah and Israel, northern kingdom, and then go up. If the Assyrians marched to war, they had to come to northern kingdom, then come down to southern kingdom, then go to Egypt. And this region was always in conflict, and even today they are in conflict. Our text today is Habakkuk, and he raises a very important question which is contemporaneous with our situation in the world today. He talks about, "O Lord, how long shall I cry for help and you will not listen, or cry to you violence and you will not save? Why do you make me see wrong and look at trouble? Destruction and violence are before me. Strife and contention arise. So the law becomes slack and justice never prevails. The wicked surround the righteous, therefore judgment comes forth perverted." This could be a commentary of today. There's so much of violence today in the world, whether it is in Africa, in Sudan, or in Tanzania, whether it's in Venezuela, whether it's in North America, and all the trouble that they foment in Central and Latin America and other countries. There is so much of trouble in the Middle East, what we call the Middle East. And there is trouble even in our region. And there is so much of violence. Violence is not only with guns, but it's the ideologies that are behind the violence. The ideologies that drive nations to war, or that drive people to mistreat others within a community, within a nation. And this violence is what Habakkuk is talking about. Particularly, he is talking about the Babylonian violence. The Assyrian violence has come to an end, but the Babylonians are no better. They are also a violent lot. All invading forces are violent. They are greedy. Assyrians, they plundered and they took the plunder to Assyria. The Babylonians did the same. The difference was that the Babylonians did not disperse their captives into the then known world, which the Assyrians did. And their cruelty was very, very dark. They beheaded people and hung their heads on the trees. They skinned people and put the skin on the trees. They pulled out eyes. They pierced their nose and put hooks and dragged people. That is what the Assyrians did. Babylonians took captives after war, prisoners of war, and they took them with them to Babylon, and we know they took the people of Judah into captivity, Judea, and we have that song, By the Rivers of Babylon. How can we sing the Lord's song? So in chapter 1, he complains about this violence. In chapter 2, he says, I will stand at my watch post and station myself on the rampart. I will keep watch to see what he will say to me. Basically saying, I will wait upon God. And then God speaks to him. And the Lord answered him and said, write the vision. Make it plain on a tablet, so that a runner may read it. For there is still a vision for the appointed time. It speaks of the end and does not lie. For God is not a man that he should lie. It will surely come. It will not delay. Look at the proud. Their spirit is not right in them, but the righteous live by their faith. And this is the theme for today. The righteous shall live by their faith. Faith in a just God, in a good and just God. Yes, there is violence, a lot of violence. The people of the southern kingdom are coming under this violence. The destruction is disproportionate to what wrongs they have done. The prophet is drawing attention to God, speaking to God, and speaking to the people. And God is saying, be patient. Trust in me. I am still in charge of the world. I am still in charge of the universe. I will bring justice. There is an appointed time. God is patient. That doesn't mean that he neglects justice. And he wants the righteous people to walk in faith. And the first song that we sang during time of praise and worship captured that, which is given to us in Habakkuk chapter 3 verses 17 to 19. Though the fig tree does not blossom and no fruit is on the trees, though the produce of the olive fails and the fields yield no food, though the flock is cut off from the fold and there is no herd in the stalls. Read Gaza. Yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will exult in God of my salvation. God the Lord is my strength. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer and makes me tread upon the heights. This is a man of faith. These are people of faith, trusting in a good and just God. And therefore they are able to sing this song. It's a song, it's poetry. Now faith is not something which is passive. Faith without works is James. Faith without works is dead. Faith has feet, faith has hands, faith has a mouth. Faith writes. Faith sees things and does take action. Hebrews chapter 11, all those people had faith, they took action. And they gave their lives for it. So, when we read Habakkuk, we should not think that the faith that the scriptures are encouraging is a passive faith. We just sit back and say, God is on the throne. It will happen. No, he wants us to participate with him. Trust him, believe in him, but we take non-violent action. The very fact that Habakkuk eschews violence means that the scriptures take a stand for non-violence. When the Lord Jesus, the incarnate God, comes on the scene, he is a non-violent God and shows us the way of the cross. He suffers on the cross. For the hope that he had in his mind, he endured the cross, knowing that there is a day of resurrection. Yes, there is a Friday. Yes, there is a Saturday, but there is also a Sunday that comes, the day of resurrection. And we celebrate Sunday with worship. We begin Sunday with worship because it is the day of resurrection. There will be suffering, but we know there is an appointed time. Sunday will come. Yes, there is a lot of violence. God is calling people to be people of faith in a just and good God. And he wants us to walk righteously and to take action in faith, knowing that in God's good time, the walls of Jericho will fall. The Red Sea will part. The Jordan will part. And we will walk through. May the Lord richly bless us. Let's prepare our hearts to participate with Christ